Today we are talking about the 5 worst neighborhoods in all of Coquitlam, at least based on statistical data. At the end, we're going to touch on the number 1 worst neighborhood in all of BC as well, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now, before you jump to the comment section to roast me for talking about your neighborhood, this isn't my opinion that I'm sharing. I am sharing statistical data. You don't get mad at the news for sharing bad news, so don't get mad at me. This is just data. It's not my opinion. Also, don't take anything I'm saying here to mean that Coquitlam isn't a safe city or isn't a good city to live in. Crime rates are 35% lower in Coquitlam than the national average. It is still a very safe place to be. There's just a couple of neighborhoods that are on the higher end based on the stats. Anyway, let's jump into it. All right, starting off at number 5, we have Millardville. Now, if you know anything about Millardville, you know it's one of the oldest cities in Coquitlam. If you're not too sure where it is, if you know where the IKEA is, you know exactly where I'm talking about. At 800 incidents per 100,000 people, it's about 18% higher than the average crime rate in Coquitlam. Now, predominantly, it's like vehicle break-ins, petty theft, that sort of thing. Now, Millardville is a bit of a mix. You've got some older single-family homes, you've got a little bit of newer residential strata development, and you've also got some industrial space mixed in. So you've got a big mix, which probably contributes to part of why the crime rate is a little bit higher than the average. So if you do live in Millardville, maybe don't leave your bike parked outside unlocked. You should probably lock that stuff up, just like you should with most places. All right, and number 4, we are talking about Canyon Springs. It's a pretty small single-family community just west of Lafarge Lake. With a crime rate of 915 incidents per 100,000 people, you're about 35% higher than the average in Coquitlam. The area predominantly sees petty theft, stuff like package theft off of balconies, and then petty break-ins, cars, that kind of thing. So if you're ordering packages and you live in Canyon Springs, make sure you go and pick your package up right away. Don't let it sit in your porch all day, otherwise the porch pirates are gonna come get you. Coming in at number 3, we have Town Center. Now, Town Center is one of the densest areas in Coquitlam. You've got Coquitlam Center Mall, you've also got a major bus loop and SkyTrain station, which probably is part of the reason why this is on the list. It's just a much busier area. When you have density like this, often you do see crime rate be a little bit higher than the average. Town Center is sitting at 954 incidents per 100,000 people, or about 41% higher than the average in Coquitlam. Coming in at number 2, we have North Coquitlam. North Coquitlam is also a pretty dense area in Coquitlam. You've got lots of high-rises, lots of condos, lots of strata development. So again, with that, just like Town Center, that extra density does tend to bring a little bit of a higher crime rate. North Coquitlam is sitting at 980 incidents per 100,000 people, which is 45% higher than the average in all of Coquitlam. Like most of the other neighborhoods that we've been talking about, you're seeing predominantly petty theft here. That's stuff like vehicle break-ins, vandalism, and other sorts of petty activities. So if you're in North Coquitlam, don't be one of those people that leave stuff in your car and then complains about it when it gets stolen. Yeah, if you leave valuables out, of course somebody's going to want to steal them. And coming in at number 1 for the worst neighborhoods in Coquitlam for crime, Austin Heights, which ironically is where my office is. At 1,020 incidents per 100,000 people, it is 50% higher than the average in Coquitlam. Now, Austin Heights is going through a lot of changes. There is a ton of development happening in the area, so a lot of the older single-family homes and a lot of the older businesses are starting to get redeveloped into newer mixed use, where it's like strata, living space on top, and then businesses along the bottom. And with rapid development like that, often comes with challenges like increases in crime. Not all of the residents in an area are going to be accepting of the changes that are happening, especially in an older part of the city like Austin Heights. Given that Austin Heights is a little bit of a hub, there's lots of traffic that goes in and out of there day in and day out. It would be interesting to see if the crime, the increased crime that's in that neighborhood is from people that actually live there and work there, or if it's more people that are passing through. I don't know if that data exists. If you happen to have it and it's verifiable, drop it in the comments below. I'd be interested to see. All right, and before we reveal the #1 worst neighborhood in all of British Columbia for crime, be sure to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button too. Okay, here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for, the #1 worst neighborhood in BC for crime, and it might be a bit of a surprise, downtown east side of Vancouver. Now, it's important to remember that there are actual real people behind these statistics. So the neighborhood is experiencing a ton of trouble right now, and if you're familiar with the area, if you've been down there recently, you know that it's only gotten worse in the year since COVID. Now, this isn't a political channel, and I'm not going to turn it into one. I'm not here to make a statement, but I think we can all agree here that our government needs to do more to help the people who are down there, who are the most vulnerable in our society. Okay, jumping back to Coquitlam now, remember that despite all of these stats, Coquitlam is still one of the safest cities in British Columbia. There isn't a single neighborhood that I wouldn't recommend somebody move to. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.